Hi, everyone. My name is Kunal Roya, Executive Director for the Recruiters Network, and welcome to the Discovery Call, the show where we learn about different technologies, how they're currently being used today to solve some challenging problems for HR and talent acquisition professionals. And today, we're joined by Randy Weber, Chief Revenue Officer of Hiretual. At CRO, Randy leads strategy and execution across all business functions, from marketing to sales and customer success to community. There have only been good things that I've heard about Randy and his business acumen, including, I quote, "If I were to start a company and begin brainstorming on who I'd like to lead, Randy would be the top of my list." So really excited to have him here today. Randy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kunal. It's great. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Team's about 100 people now, give or take.
That's right.
And you've been there for, I want to say, about a year, maybe a year and a half.
Just about a year. Yeah.
So tell people, how did you get into Hiretual and how did that come about?
Yeah. No, my background's been a little all over the place. So all the way back to the beginning, my undergraduate degree is in electrical engineering, and I had an internship at Hewlett Packard, which I was really fortunate to have when I was in college, and I realized I would make a terrible engineer, which was not the happiest thing to realize when I'm 1 year from the finish line on that degree. But I then sort of pivoted and moved into customer facing roles and was really lucky to spend the first 12 years of my career at HP. And then I was part of the Agilent Technology spin out and was in sales and a number of sort of customer facing leadership roles there. And then I went to business school, got an MBA, and the way I say it is I do what everybody does. I decided to take a 75% pay cut and go to work for a 6-person startup. And really, I've been a part of 3 tech startups. All of them I joined at early stages. And I love the process of coming in and building something out of nothing. Or not necessarily nothing, but building something from the ground up. And so that's been my journey. And I'm more of a technology guy than I am a talent acquisition guy. I am new to the space, so for the last year, I've been just trying to learn as much as I can and absorb all of the information and really figure out the way to both effectively and efficiently bring Hiretual to market.
Coming back a little bit
Mhm.
to our topic of the technology, tell people a little bit about Hiretual. What do you all do there, and how are you really helping professionals in HR and talent acquisition space today?
Yeah, so at Hiretual, what we're trying to do is really consolidate the top of the recruiting funnel, right? So there's a number of places where recruiters are going to source passive talent today. And of course, they're also posting jobs and getting a ton of applicants and weeding through those and trying to figure out who's a great fit and who's not a great fit. And what that leads to is a very kind of disjointed experience, both for the disjointed experience for the recruiter. But then if you sort of zoom out to the enterprise level, it's one where there's very little visibility, very little ability to really track metrics and kind of consolidate a process. So we're trying to bring that all together and then leverage artificial intelligence, machine learning, and natural language processing to create efficiencies in the process. And so we aggregate data across a number of different platforms. We use artificial intelligence to augment the application screening process. We bring email engagement directly integrated into the platform so that once you've kind of qualified and sourced candidates, you can engage them directly from there. We allow our customers to pull in data on past applicants out of their ATS or profiles out of their CRMs and refresh and enrich them in Hiretual. And then wrap sort of data analytics and insights around that. And so the net effect is we help our customers find more better qualified candidates in less time. We help them fill more roles at a lower cost per hire. And really drive a lot of productivity improvements and efficiency, and in a way that really turbocharges the human beings, not not replaces them.
Which I think is the most important part, is bringing the human back into human resources and talent acquisition.
Absolutely, it's recruiting is inherently a human activity, right? I mean that the most the magic happens when the recruiter is directly engaged with the candidate. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that sort of happens around that in the talent acquisition process that that the more you can apply technology to take away the other stuff and make that real human interaction the focus, I think that's what leads to better outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the fortunate opportunity here on the show to interview Ben Slater over at the Beamery, and I believe the two of you, Beamery and Hiretual, had recently done some partnership there. So, I want to ask, maybe for those folks who are confused about the difference of the two, can you talk a little bit about that partnership?
So first of all, we did announce a partnership with Beamery back a couple of weeks ago at HR Tech, and we're extremely excited about it. And really, the great thing about this partnership is it's grown out of the fact that we have a number of mutual customers who have recognized the power and the combination of Hiretual plus Beamery being kind of greater than the sum of the parts, so to speak, right? And so that's the reason why I'm really excited about it. In reality, there's very little overlap in our offerings are actually extremely complementary. So our focus is on really the data that you need, right? It's in making the open web the talent pool for the enterprise. And when you look at Beamery and the other CRMs that we both integrate with and partner with, their focus really is on maximizing the utility of the data that you have, right? Nurturing candidates, building those relationships over time, activity management, and recruitment marketing. And so when you bring that kind of combination of focusing on the data you need but don't yet have, and then optimally utilizing the data that you do have, that's a really powerful combination. And then the other thing that it allows you to do is, because you connect kind of the core CRM system to the external web, you now have a set of data, these candidates that live in the CRM, that are constantly kept up to date, refreshed, constantly enriched, and it really creates value in that asset.
Amazing. And so, with that AI portion of it as well, I think you hear a lot about how companies are trying to, hire more diverse candidates.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to be diverse in the way that their teams are sourcing. In what ways can Hiretual help the end user sort of eliminate that bias when doing their job?
Yeah. So it's a really good question. And I think there's a number of aspects to it, right? I think first and foremost, when I talk about some of the efficiencies gained, really one simple way to think about it is you essentially replace a human being flipping through resumes one by one with a machine that goes and kind of scans and screens and evaluates a person's professional profile against the requirements of a vacancy. And that inherently reduces some of the unconscious or cognitive biases that all human beings have, right? Then second, we do provide the capability, and one of the critical use cases for Hiretual and our customers is specifically sourcing for diverse candidates. And because we're able to aggregate profile information and build out more holistic profiles of candidates in general, and then be and have more effective search and match technology, it actually helps our customers who are specifically searching for diverse candidates to find more better matches to the roles that they're hiring for. And so as a result, more of those candidates get hired and placed into jobs. And then third, some of our customers even take things further and turn on what's called a blind sourcing mode, which essentially hides all of the personally identifiable characteristics in the candidates that are sourced and leaves you only with the professional qualifications, right? So you take away the name, you take away the picture, you take away visibility into anything that could identify ethnicity or gender or anything like that. And so that even, that kind of takes it even to the next level. Yeah. So the first one here says, "Oh, you're not currently," the recruiter on the phone. "Oh, you're not currently working. Well, we're looking for someone who's currently employed." 100%. I think this is absolutely true. And, part of it is a function, I think, of this job market where unemployment is so crazy low. But, there's certainly great people out there who, for one reason or another, are between roles. And so I think I think somebody who automatically disqualifies somebody for that reason is probably, they're probably doing themselves a disservice. But I absolutely do think that this hits pretty dead center on an attitude that's pretty pervasive.
All right, so we'll move on here to the next one.
Yeah. So the next one is an email from the HR tech company. "Are you using AI in your HR department?" And then it says "me," and it's a guy who looks like he's drowning in a pool and surrounded by paper resumes. Um, so I think on a number of levels, this is absolutely right. This is right on. Our 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 customers, our market, everybody in this space, and I think it's probably, it's definitely not unique to just this space. Everybody is bombarded by messages from salespeople, and I tell our sales team, you have to be unique, you have to be provocative, you have to be smart, you have to be relevant, and you have to be highly personalized. Otherwise, don't bother picking up the phone. Don't bother clicking send on that email, because it's just going to end up being noise in somebody's inbox, or on their voicemail, or, God forbid, they pick up the phone and you just, kind of vomit our generic sales pitch all over them. That's, you're stealing their life. No, but it's totally right on. I think everybody is drowning these days.
All right, so move on to the next one here.
Yeah, so it's like the guy and the girlfriend are holding hands. The guy is tagged HR, and the girlfriend is tagged implementing a new HR system. And then he is kind of craning his neck to look at another woman who is tagged Excel spreadsheets. Um, so I think where this is headed is like implementation fatigue, right? People who take on these big, heavy technology implementation projects, and it's really fascinating to actually watch it happen. So I'm very blessed now at Hiretual. Our implementation process it can be a day, or it can be a couple of days, but it's like it's very light. It's a very light lift, both for us and our customers. But I've certainly worked in companies where the implementation of the technology is long and arduous and a lot of work, and things go wrong, and it's just you watch people go from this like incredible high of all these great expectations and excitement about the project to, oh my god, is this ever going to be done? We should just maybe we should just go back to what we had before. At least that worked. So it's, yeah, absolutely. That's right on.
And I think that's where customer success really comes into play too, right? That onboarding, that crucial onboarding of a new tool, and then, not just sort of leaving them in the field, but, holding their hand through maybe the first 30, 60, 90 days of after that, right?
Absolutely. So we actually talk about, like, there are some critical milestones that we know that our most successful customers hit, and hit quickly, right? So we have our customer success team, like our entire training and onboarding process is optimized to make sure every customer hits those milestones at kind of the right time, and usually it's as quickly as possible. Because if you put yourself in the customer's shoes, they never feel, or they never feel more at risk or more exposed than the minute after they sign a contract, right? Because now they've committed, they've given you, the vendor, what you've wanted, right? But they haven't gotten anything in return just yet. And so it's all about time to value, right? It's all about making that feeling, like that emotion that they feel at that instant, go away as quickly as possible, and then you can kind of move on from there.
All right, we got two more here for you, Randy.
All right, this one. Okay, yeah, we're they're in a job interview, and it says we're looking for someone aged 22 to 26 with 30 years of experience. Yeah, mathematically impossible. I, I mean, I look. Every hiring manager wants the unicorn candidate, right? Everybody wants the person who's done exactly this job before to great success, and um, yeah, I mean, as they should to a certain extent, right? But then there's also the real world, and back to the conversation or the short conversation we had about talent pools. What is the available talent pool? And given all of the constraints that are often sort of not variable, right? When do you need the position filled? How much are you willing to pay? What are are there other constraints on you? You have to be realistic about what it is, about the kinds of people that are going to be available to you. And certainly, this is, this is obviously an exaggeration, but we've all seen we've all seen job descriptions or a list of wants from a hiring manager that have contradictory things in them.
All right, and the last one here.
Who said it's a man who's obviously advanced in years saying, who said recruiting was stressful? I'm 27 and I feel great. He looks like he might be 97. Yeah, it's I think I mentioned earlier, being new to talent acquisition, right? And the only experience I had with recruiting or recruiters previous to joining Hiretual a year ago was as a hiring manager. And um, in retrospect, of course, I had unrealistic expectations, and I think all of us probably do. And it does create extreme pressure to deliver on talent acquisition professionals, and we see it every single day, and it's no different. I mean, it's a different flavor, but whether they're in an agency with the pressure to perform that comes with, or in a high growth company with a very similar pressure to perform, it's a high stress job, and can sometimes feel like a thankless one. So I have nothing but the greatest of respect for our customers and what they do every day.
Well, that concludes our segment for how accurate it is. Thank you so much.
That's fun, cool.
All right. Awesome. So we got a couple more questions for you here, Randy. One of the last ones here is comes back to Hiretual, and I think something that is rampant in the industry right now when it comes to tools and CRMs, and maybe this is an internal thing within companies, but data cleanliness. So
Yeah.
when it comes to sourcing and bringing in data into internal systems, what can you tell us about Hiretual and how they're sort of helping with data cleanliness?
Yeah. So it's the old garbage in, garbage out thing, right? So I think there's a couple of different levels to it, right? One is, I think I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we help our customers do is refresh, enrich, and update some of the data that they have within their own internal systems, right? Either past applicant records that are trapped within the ATS, or candidate profiles that are within a CRM and have been there for a while. They need to be kept up to date on an ongoing basis, and we help our customers do that. Now that sort of rolls back to, it's incumbent upon us to make sure that our data is up to date, right? Because what good does it do to refresh your old data with our old data? That doesn't do anybody any good. So yeah, and as you can imagine, we in our data set we have over 750 million candidate profiles. It's a lot of profiles. You can probably imagine keeping that volume of data up to date and fresh on an ongoing, consistent basis it's a constant process, right? So we do have processes that run in the background in our product that constantly update the data that's within our network to make sure that, and constantly mine what's out there on the open web to make sure that our data is as up to date as it possibly can be.
So if you thought you were going to get away that easy, I would think again. We have one more question for you, and the question I think that's on everyone's mind. How much is Hiretual going to cost us? And how do you see teams justifying budget for something like this?
Yeah. So I'll tell you kind of how the pricing model works. Is it's an annual subscription per seat license, like most software as a service platforms, and it's priced very competitively against something like a LinkedIn Recruiter, for example. And I think the ways, so there's two distinct value propositions that we see. Right, about 40% of our business is done with staffing agencies. And for them, the value proposition is really top line oriented, right? The more placements they make, the more money they make. And so from our standpoint, we need to figure out and then demonstrate how we help them make more placements in less time, plain and simple. And that leads to a revenue benefit. And then the return on investment is substantial, right? In a corporate setting, it's not a direct sort of top line benefit. Of course, you can say you need employees to do work that leads to revenue, and it's a bit of an indirect argument. But within a corporate setting, it's really more of a recruiter productivity, organization productivity, efficiency, cost per hire, time to hire type of value proposition.
Randy, thank you so much. You've answered all the questions we've had for you here today. With the time we have left, is there anything else you would like to tell the people?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on today. It's been a pleasure to talk with you. I love what you guys are doing. And yeah, thanks again.